Hello and welcome to WiseWrite at Home Unit 6, Writing Your Play. You now have everything you need to start writing your play. You have your characters, you have your overview, you have your outline. Today we're going to talk about format, or how you take all that information about your play and put it on the page, arranged in such a way that whoever is reading your play will see it just as clearly as you do. We have 3 new worksheets for this unit. They are the Time, Place, and At Rise worksheet, the Play Format Reminder worksheet, and then a short sample play. All of these are available on the Repertory Theater website. So go ahead and take a moment to download those, collect them together, and I'll see you back here in a minute. Okay, have everything you need? Great. One thing that distinguishes a play is that it is divided into scenes. Now, a scene is a section of a play where the action takes place in the same place without a break in time. So for instance, let's say that our play is about a young student writing a play. One of their family members walks into the room, asks how it's going, drops off a snack, leaves the room. That's one scene. But let's say now that same student is working on their play and they get called into dinner. As soon as that character leaves the room, that's a new scene because we've had a change in location. And let's say that character comes back the next day to start working on the play again. Even though the action is the same, it's a new scene because now the time has changed. If you look at your Time, Place, and At Rise worksheet, you'll see that the way that we mark scenes, the way we talk about them, are when the scene takes place, where the scene takes place, and what is happening at the beginning of the scene. Time is when the scene takes place. So as you think about when you want to set the time for your play, you have lots of different choices. You can be specific, make it 3 p.m. or lunchtime. You can be more general. You could say the afternoon, early evening. You could even make it a season, winter, summer, the school year. You do want to use, though, a type of time that supports or suits your action. Remember when we were talking about the elements of a well-written play, and one of them was logical behavior? We want to set up a time that seems logical when we think about the action of the play. So let's say your play is about planting flowers. Well, it wouldn't be logical then to select a time like the middle of the night or the middle of the winter. The next thing we're going to talk about is place, or where the scene takes place. Again, this can be as specific or as general as you want to make it. It could be the jungle, it could be Antarctica, it could be your grandmother's kitchen. But this is another place where we can use place in order to help better tell our story. So for instance, let's say we had a play about a pair of scissors that wanted to explore the world. Well, you could make your place something general like an office. But if you make your place specific, let's say a crowded drawer in a desk in an office, all of a sudden we better understand why this pair of scissors wants to get out and explore the world, right? Next is what is happening at the moment the scene starts. Here we refer to that as at rise. That comes from the old theater tradition of most theaters having a big, heavy curtain that would separate what was happening on stage from the audience. And as that curtain began to rise, the audience would get their first peek at the action of the play. In a similar way, at rise, when your play starts, we should know where we are with the characters and what they're doing. You do not need to tell us how they're feeling. Save that for the dialogue. Let that come out in the conversations that they're having with other characters. So for example, if we go back to our scene about the student that's writing the play, and we had to fill out time, place, and at rise on our worksheet, time might be late afternoon before dinner. Place could be student's bedroom. At rise, student is sitting at her desk working on her play. Her sister walks in with a bowl of pretzels. Now take a moment here to go ahead and pause the video and complete the Time, Place, and At Rise worksheet, just to make sure you understand how this works around scenes before we go on to the next step. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, worksheet complete? Great. So if you've ever read a play before, you know that it looks different on the page than, let's say, a book or a newspaper article. As a playwright, we format or arrange the information on the page, such as who our characters are, what they're saying, what they're doing, so that our readers, including actors and directors, can see as clearly as we do. In other words, you want to make it so that as they're reading that play, they are recreating what you originally saw in your imagination. To help you understand what I'm describing here, let's go ahead and take a look at that sample play. Have that handy. The first thing that we're going to look at is the title block. Now, this is our first clue to our readers about what they're going to see. The title block is the title of your play, followed by the playwright's name. The title should be centered on your page. It should be in all caps and bold print. Your name should be on the next line, followed by. And by is going to be in all caps. Let's take a look at our sample play. You'll see how it's done there, where the title of the play, The Destructive Coat, is in all caps, and then the playwright's name is on the line below. Then as you see, after the title block, they hit return a couple times so that there was plenty of space between the title of the play and the next section, which is the character list. Now here is where we're going to put down the name of each character, as well as a short list or a couple of traits that are important for our readers to know. Again, this is for the readers of your play. The audience is not going to see this. So if these traits are in fact important for our audience, we're going to make sure that these traits come out in their first couple lines of dialogue. But for our readers, we can see here, let's take Lily on our sample play, right? It says here that Lily is a leather coat who loves being mean and making fun of people and has a change of heart. So that's great for our readers. But our audience, how are they going to know that? Well, maybe in her first couple lines of dialogue, she starts by insulting somebody, or she says something sarcastically. That's what'll get the information across for our audience. But for our readers, we want to have it here in our character list. So you'll put characters, underline, and in all caps there on the left side of the page, just like it is in our sample play. Then you'll list each character's name in all caps. Then you have your description or list of character traits beginning on the same line. If you have to go to the next line, indent 5 spaces so that you're not putting the text that follows on the next line right under the name. To see what that looks like, if you look there in your sample play with Lily, you'll see that they had to indent the phrase change of heart, those 5 spaces. Then you hit the return key so that there's some room between your character list and what comes next. Now we're at the body of the play. This is where we start writing your first scene. On our sample play, you can see on the left side of the page that time, place, and at rise. The words time, place, and at rise should all be in bold and be followed by a colon, those 2 dots. If you have to go to the next line on any of them, do the same thing that we did when we talked about the Lily example above, right? You indent those 5 spaces. Now your dialogue begins to tell your story. You'll see here the name of the character speaking is in all caps and put in the center of the page. So in our sample scene, Melina speaks first. Then there should be a blank line between the end of her line and the next character's dialogue. Now, if you want a feeling or an action to go with a line of dialogue, let's say you want your character to say something sarcastically, or you want them to start crying as they say their words. You're going to put that quality or action in parentheses and indent 5 spaces. The dialogue should then go in the next line. So if we look again at our sample play, you'll see near the bottom of the page, when Lily says, happily to herself, I am bought at last. Happily to herself is that feeling that goes with the line. That's the clue for your reader on how to hear that line in their heads. Now, of course, for our audiences, the actor will see that and know how to deliver the line so that the audience gets the same impression. Sometimes you're going to need an action that doesn't go with the dialogue. Then you would insert what we call a stage direction. Again, if you go to the bottom of our page, we'll see how we do that. You'll see in parentheses, it says, all three walk out of the store happily as the lights go down. The stage direction is telling us how the play is ending. Now, when you put in a stage direction, all stage directions should be in parentheses and indented 5 spaces. Character names, if there are any inside the direction, should be in all caps. And then there should be a blank line between the end of the dialogue and the stage directions, and then the stage directions and the next spoken line. Your play is going to move forward like this, with characters exchanging dialogue, taking actions, scenes beginning and ending, each time there's a shift in time or in location. Then when we reach the end of your play, we're going to need to mark it in a special way. You started at the beginning, you've gone through the middle, and now we're at the end. Your characters have followed their arc, they've tried strategies, they've solved their dramatic conflict and reached the end of their journey. Plays mark the end by typing "the end" in bold letters at the center of the page and after the last line of dialogue or the last action. Now it's time for the most important part of this course. It's time for you to write your own play. Keep your sample play and play format reminder sheet nearby to help you remember how to organize everything on the page. And when you're finished with your play, please share it with us. Give it to us for consideration in our online festival. Instructions for that are on the WiseWrite page. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following along. We cannot wait to see what journeys you dream up. Bye.